Thank you for coming to help me celebrate my 60th birthday today. Seriously. So people ask me how to pronounce my last name. Sometimes people kind of are confused by it. So what I say, tell people when I'm in a new parish and new group of people, it's easy to remember. Think of Dracula, Zinkula, Dracula. He wears black, I wear black. So that's how you'll never forget my name after that. So with regard to the diocesan prayer, I became aware of that after I was appointed or bishop, the new bishop, and so there's a line that people were praying for a pastor who will please you by his holiness. So, I mean, there's it looks like maybe there's this halo. It's actually the light reflecting off my bald head. So those prayers will need to continue. I mean, I do my best, but with regard to praying for someone who will show, a shepherd who will show us your watchful care, I promise the people from this diocese that I will do my best to care for them, and I'll work hard, and I've always jumped into every assignment I've had and gave it my all, and I certainly will do that here. There's, I think you have my bio. I'm happy to answer questions in a minute about anything that you want to ask about that. I sent an email. I asked Bishop Amos and the Chancery staff to send an email to the priests of Davenport this morning when all this kind of became public. And one thing I said there was that I'm a little anxious, but a lot excited. So I'm a little anxious because I'm very well aware that being bishop is a challenging, kind of daunting ministry, and so, and I'm well aware of my weaknesses and my limitations. So that makes me anxious a little bit, but I'm also a lot excited. I'm very excited too. I like new challenges, new adventures. I'm curious by nature, and so I'm looking forward to getting to know the priests and the deacons, religious, chancery staff, parish lay leaders, and the lay people of the Diocese of Davenport, and I have a lot to learn. I have to learn how to be a bishop. I mean, when you put that big pointy hat, was that the crozier or the mitre? What do you call that thing? When you put that on, when you take it off, and all that. I mean, I don't have a clue. I'm starting to pay attention now. How that works. So, and I need to learn. I need to get to know the people of the diocese and what's going on here, the parishes, and so I've got a lot to learn, and I'll just take it a day at a time, a step at a time. I could talk about lots more things. Actually, one thing I'll talk about, and then happy to take questions. I actually it's like coming home for me to Davenport. My great-great-grandparents on my dad's side came from Bohemia. So, this Zinkula is a Czech name, and they settled in Iowa City in 1854. So my story began there, on my dad's side anyway, and my great-grandparents were married at St. Mary's Parish in Iowa City. They eventually kind of started going north a little bit, ended up in Mount Vernon, where I grew up. I was actually baptized in the Davenport Diocese. There's a little Czech parish, Saints Peter and Paul. It was a mission of Solon out in the country, and I was baptized there. My family had helped build that church and everything. My dad's side is all buried across the road in the cemetery. And then when I was, 3 or 4, they transferred over to Mount Vernon for religious ed and things like that. So there's a Zinkula window in that church there and everything. And then you'll see I played football in high school and college, and people kind of picked up on that a little bit. So the conference that Mount Vernon was in, it was the Eastern Iowa Hawkeye Conference. All of the schools that we played were in the Davenport Diocese. So it was like Solon, West Branch, Wilton, Durant, West Liberty, Mid Prairie, which I think is Wellman. A brother and a sister went to St. Ambrose. I was told the Chancery staff earlier that I remember going to my sister is 2 years older than me, And Bob Hope gave the commencement address. It was like 40 years ago. Any of you old timers remember that maybe. So that was cool. I went to law school at the University of Iowa, attended Mass, St. Mary's, and the Newman Center, and St. Patrick's, and St. Thomas More, back when it was in that part of town. So it kind of feels like coming home in a sense. And but I'm also, it's hard for me, to be honest with you, to be leaving Dubuque. It's kind of bittersweet. I'm excited to begin this new thing eventually. I wrap things up back there and get ordained and everything. But I'm grieving as well. Relationships. It's not like they'll end totally, but it's going to be very different. Priests, especially my brother priest from Dubuque, and so I'm excited to get to know, the new the people here and everything. But there's that side of me too. That's kind of a hard thing for me at this point. So the last thing I'll say is I just want to thank Bishop Amos. He's been very gracious in welcoming me, and he came at a difficult time and has done a wonderful job from what I've seen and from what I've heard from people from this diocese. And he's leaving the diocese in a very good place for me to step into it as a baby bishop and kind of get rolling with the thing and figure things out. And so I appreciate that very much. And